Well, through the binoculars, I can see some kind of abandoned structure up there and maybe a log cabin or something. I don't know. We're going to go find out. Well, are you full of energy today after a good night's sleep?
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
I guess we'll find out. Hey, I was thinking we'd go down to Farson, check out and see if they got any ice cream like they used to have, those big, huge ice cream cones. And then we'll head east from there somewhere.
Is that going to be lunch?
That's, yeah, and dinner. As I recall, those ice cream cones are about as big as your head.
Yeah, yeah. It should be good for like 2 days worth of food.
I think so. We'll go find out. Why, it's perfect. Let's hitch that up and take that home.
Oh, take it on the road.
Yeah. Yeah, somebody abandoned a little Shasta here.
Looks like it was nice at one time.
Yeah. Once upon a time. Wyoming Vehicle Inspection, 1977. Well, it's still got a perfectly good tire on this side.
Maybe they left it to be a shelter or something.
I don't know. It was somebody's pride and joy once upon a time.
Oh,
It's kind of like the first trailer that we had. Remember that first 14-footer that we bought?
the Yellowstone.
No, not that one. The one that we bought in Montana, that little
Oh
14-footer.
yeah, and they told us, yeah, we fit 12 cowboys in here one night. Remember that?
Yeah. Oh, gee. It wasn't in much better shape than this. Oh, well.
Nice and wide.
Yep. Busted up, shot up. Oh, well. Let's go down and check out that log building down the road here.
Okay.
Let's go see that. Well, it's pretty out. Man, you can't beat the beauty, I'll tell you. Good old Wyoming. So we're walking up on what looks like a log stable right there. And then Linda just noticed over there is another fallen down log structure. We'll go take a look at that too.
Wow.
It's too low to be a stable.
Well, yeah, erosion and, I mean, buildup of dirt.
That too, and it's sunk into the ground, but look, there's only, walk up there so we can see, so they can see how high that is. There's not room to get a horse in there, you know what I mean? Maybe just was a place for stowing grain or hay or something like that.
Maybe it was a,
I mean, the opening is too big for a log cabin. You know, a big double wide door like this.
yeah. What digs those holes?
Rabbits.
There's a really big one over there. Maybe it's miners.
Yeah, miners are always digging holes, right?
Rabbits.
I think I got this figured out.
Ew.
I think so. This wasn't a big double door here. Looking down here, you can see where the door ended. There's the end of the log right there, over to here. So this right here would have been the door, and then from here over was a window of some kind. And this was not a stable, this was a cabin. I'm just guessing. Because it sure wasn't a stable. You can't get an animal in there, so. I'm thinking it was a cabin. Oh yeah, and for warmth, it was actually built down into the ground on the back side here.
Didn't the trappers in the trapping days build
Yes,
shelters like this?
they did. And any mud chinking would have washed away 100 years ago, you know,
Oh yeah.
long time ago. Let's go check out that other cabin that you saw, that other structure. Look at the view.
I know, and this is facing perfectly with the sun, you know, and
And that window on the south side, that would
yeah.
be the south side letting heat in.
Yep.
What Linda said about trappers makes sense because they would have trapped in the wintertime when the pelts were the fullest, you know, the thickest. Because the other thing that comes into play here is this. I'll show you something. Right down below here, that's about 300 yards down to the stream. There is a stream, but it's all but dried up right now, this being middle of August. So there wouldn't have been a whole lot of water. You can still get water down there. It's pretty foul, I'll tell you that. But there had been plenty of water in the winter months. Well, don't know what this was. It is all fallen down. Moving very carefully here. Okay, what I see is this long piece right here. That was the main rafter. It was a cabin. You see the front of it over there. You know, one thing that leads to the demise of things like this is the cattle leaning on it to get out of the wind. Can't blame them. I'm just moving carefully around. I'm just watching for snakes. This was a pretty large cabin. Looks like it was maybe 16 by 20 in size. Don't know where the door was, but you could see where there was a window right there. Just built out of rough sawn lumber. Maybe somebody had a sawmill nearby at the time. Want to go inside? I don't think so. Then too, back in the days before fast-moving pickup trucks, and when cowboys only rode horseback, they had line shacks, places where they would live closer to where the cattle happened to be at the time, or where they had herded the cattle. So there's line shacks all over where they would stay. This could be one of those. You ready to head back?
Yeah, but let's check that out first. What is that?
I don't know. Something else. Well, Linda spied something else up here. Don't know if it was a dugout or what. It's got some concrete. I have no idea. Oh, wait a minute. I have an idea. If this concrete here was whole, this would have been a wall filled in with dirt on the backside. This where they could have backed a truck up to load cattle. There's a post in the ground up here. There's where that possible line shack was right here. What you find in there?
The pretty pattern on this dish,
Oh, it is beautiful.
or whatever it was.
Yeah, a little saucer or something, yeah. Fine china, baby. Them cowboys had fine china.
It looks like wild rose.
Mm-hmm. That's fitting. Well, we're in Farson, Wyoming. Farson, Wyoming is famous for a couple of things. One thing it's famous for is it's right on the Pony Express Trail. Another thing it's famous for is this is where the Oregon Trail split and it became the California Trail and the Oregon Trail, one going to the south and one going to the northwest. There's something else that Farson is famous for, and it's the reason that Linda and I always somehow end up here. When you see this, it'll probably make you end up here too.
Hello.
Hello. Well, in case you can't tell, and you probably can't, this is actually massive. I got it in a cup because if you get 2 scoops in a cone, it's hard to control. Linda got the smallest serving. That's a Rocky Road. I don't remember what I got. Espresso something and a caramel something. I think 2 scoops at this place is about a quart of ice cream, and I'm not kidding. It's gigantic. I got to remember next time I come here to just get 1 scoop and not 2.
Oh, you remember, you wanted 2 scoops.
I think I OD'd on ice cream. I didn't quite finish it. I'm ashamed that I didn't finish it. So at our ice cream stop just behind the building, and we saw this water spigot here, and we need water pretty bad. So I drew some water out of there into a cup, and you know that water tester that I featured in my Sturgis motorcycle video? Well, good thing I tested it with a tester because the water's bad. It tested as poor quality, rated it at about 75%, and for drinking water you want to see 95% or better. And when you're filling your water tanks, you want it to be really good, so you want it to be good to excellent. Anyways, nice to have the Cactually water tester along, and I'll put a link to it in the video description down below. Well, we're just headed up over South Pass between Farson, heading for Lander, Highway 28. Very famous area here. This was the main route for the settlers heading west. Like I just mentioned there in Farson, this is where the trails parted, going to either California or Oregon. But first they had to get over the mountains. You know, when they started out, they were going through the Rocky Mountains in the most treacherous places like Rogers Pass up in Montana, where it was rocky and difficult terrain, hard enough to get a horse through, let alone a wagon full of your goods. It was through Jim Bridger, an early trapper and explorer, who had been, I think he was like the first white man that went to California. But the Native Americans told him of an easier way to get through the Rocky Mountains. And he went searching for it and found South Pass. It's an easy walk in the park. You can take a wagon right through. It's a big, broad pass with easy access on both sides. Just a piece of cake. Now you can come down here and you can visit Atlantic City and I think South Pass City, but it's on either side of the pass. And on one side you have Lander, and on the other side you got the little area of Farson, quite a few miles apart, about 60 or 70 miles apart. But what I'm saying is, this was a cakewalk compared to what they were doing. It was like, oh. And this became the major route, the main route to go to California and Oregon. There are places here where you can get out and you can walk on the original wagon road. Here in the distance, you can just see that 2-track disappearing up and over the hills there. That's the original road there. Well, we're in a national forest campground right above the town of Lander along the Popo-Ague River. Linda's just chilling. Comes down the mountain, then it disappears down a sinkhole, and then it reappears later. I don't know where that sinkhole is, but at least I can show you the beautiful river down here. Well, it's been a long day, but we've had fun. Hope you guys enjoyed the video.
Yeah, I hope you did.
If you did, like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you around.